Hello and welcome to Out the Gate. This is where you'll get the weekend's best racing intel in 30 minutes, more or less. Hopefully less this week. It's been a bloody long spring. I'm your host, Alex Donnelly, joined as always by Gilbert Gardiner from the Herald Sun. Gil, final Group 1 of the spring this weekend.
We're looking forward to that. Gee whiz, it's been a long spring. And we've got a hoedown at Caulfield this week. They've got the Cowboys and the country music and all sorts, boot scooting. We'll see how all that unfolds.
That might be the one thing that gets my fiancée to the races. She wants our wedding to be a cowboy disco. I've put a kibosh on that. We might get her to the races for a hoedown. She does go boot scooting. And go up to Sydney to say hello to Mitch Cohen. Mitch, no boot scooting up in Sydney this weekend.
No boot scooting in Sydney. We'll be up on the road to Newcastle as the roadshow begins for the hunt today. So it should be a pretty good meeting. Always a good race. Obviously, Briasa won this race last year and went on to win at TJ Smith in the autumn and run in at Everest. So genuinely good race on the calendar. The big thing about this carnival is they just make it bigger and bigger every year. So just when you think it's winding down, no, it's not.
And of course, we do have $1 million race as well as the CF Orr on the card, as the Melbourne Racing Club have pumped some money into the 3-year-old fillies race, which has actually turned out to be a belter of a race because they want to get a Group 1 out of this race.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it gives those 3-year-old fillies something to target. There's a bit of talk around maybe Flemington Week also having a similar type race to give a fillies version of a Coolmore as well during Cup Week. A lot of people like racing their horses during Cup Week, as we know. But this is a good initiative, and I think it's been vindicated at its first attempt. My Gladiola, obviously, a hot favourite, and the field has come up really well. The Orr we'll touch on later. That's a bit of a smaller field this week, so we're not sure how that's going to going forward, but certainly the fillies, they've done a good job.
So on our deep dive this week, we will take in the CF Orr Stakes, look at a couple of replays, of course. The speed map, the Hunter at the Newcastle is the main event up there, but of course the best bet, Quaddie legs, and all the breaking news coming up in the papers this weekend. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to Racenet on YouTube. Just because the carnival over doesn't mean the content is over. We are going all the way through this spring, basically till the middle of December, and then we'll have a short let up to a Magic Millions. But follow Racenet on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button, so anytime we do a video, it pops up in your feed, as well as following our Racenet tweets on X and Racenet on Facebook and Instagrams. There's been a lot of good content up in the spring. Please check it all out. But the CF Orr is the main Group 1 this weekend, the final Group 1 of the Melbourne Spring. Of course, it was run in February, but we have moved it to the back end of the carnival to make up for the 1,000 Guineas and the Rupert Clark, going back to, let's just say it, Gil, their rightful place.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both of those races were good at the time. Interesting, Chris Waller actually liked the 1,000 Guineas where it was.
Kept winning it.
This time of year, that's right. Yeah, so it's funny. It's horses for courses, I guess, and it gives you the opportunity. If you've got one that's running a flight and needs a bit more time to freshen up, can go into a thing. But as I said, look, the Orr has come up pretty light. It's one of the smallest fields in well over a decade. But thankfully, there's Jimmy there and a couple of those Everest runners that Mitch will talk about that sort of bolster the field a bit.
So let's get to the speed map of this race. Just the small field, as we said, it's race number 8, 425 this Saturday at Caulfield. Well, geez, Vinrock, he just has to lead, you'd think, from barrier 7, 53 kilos at weight for age. Mighty Ulysses will look to hold a spot. Pinstriped can be a little bit closer. I love that Jimmy's drawn barrier 3 because he could genuinely box seat from there, because Ethan Brown and Jimmy have flushed at the last two, and Ethan Brown hasn't been afraid to take a chance this spring. Bazasto will be there about. Angel Capital, he'll probably just go back. Evaporate can roll forward as well, but as said, Vinrock looks your likely leader, Gil.
Yeah, look, I think that's exactly what will happen. He'll go forward. We know that's the best way he operates. We saw him a couple of starts ago at the Valley.
Slow out.
Bundled the start, finished up at his top for the whole way and just ran woefully. Was better last start. I think this has been a bit of a target race probably since the Valley sort of probably wrecked their spring a little bit, or their initial plans. So I think the only way that he can challenge certainly Jimmy Star, I mean, it looks a 2-horse race outside, Jimmy Star and Angel Capital, let's be honest. The only way Vinrock can challenge him is if he goes forward, tries to pinch it, I suppose. I think he will be a sitting duck, though.
Yeah. All right, let's get to a few of the replays. And Mitch, take us through the Everest here. Jimmy Star rolled forward, sat outside Car Ying Rising, and then you've got Angel Capital, the Yulong colours. He nearly got put through the fence there by War Machine.
Yeah, it was a terrific run, Angel Capital, wasn't he? He was just buried there on the fence, but there wasn't a horse coming back in the field as we watch him get down the straight. He didn't have the clearest running, but he was rocketing through the line. Plenty of merit to Jimmy Star's runners we've gone through before. He had to go forward to really challenge in this race. He drew wide. He was kept 3 wide by Car Ying Rising, but he just kept finding to the line. Now, that run obviously didn't take too much out of him because he was brilliant next start in the Russell Boulding, but yet just looking through the line here, that's just poking through late. Angel Capital, a terrific run, and they circled this race. They could have gone to a Russell Balding or even a Golden Eagle with him being a 4-year-old, but they decided to keep him fresh and go to this race on Saturday.
Obviously does need the Group 1 as he is a colt. So the Group 1 is the most important thing that Chris Waller sort of said all the way through the spring. Probably should have had one 2 starts ago at this track and distance.
Yeah, geez, he was. They wouldn't want to watch those replays again. I hope we got it. No, we
This
don't
is
have
the
it.
Turak.
Right, I was going to say that was a woeful. That was that was a shocking watch.
Yeah.
I mean, how he picked himself up was incredible.
We're rolling along with the Turak here as we're going through that, but you see there you've got Pinstripe back on the fence in the blinkers. You've got Evaporate about to peel out there in the Cook colours as well. Now, the best thing out of this is Transatlantic has gone to Sydney and won and then was beaten at Pimple on the weekend. Seppels, who ends up finishing last, ran second in the Golden Eagle. Lazura wasn't too bad at Flemington. So, form out of this race, as usual, stacked up all right.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's a proven form line. I thought Evaporate went all right up in Sydney as well. Again, it's going to be a hard. I think he's a very good horse. I think he's an excellent horse. I think we'll see the best of him probably this time next year. We might, if we have this same segment this time next year, he might have a couple of Group 1s to his name. I'm just not sure he's going. I think the other two are just better. On the day.
And let's go to the Caulfield Guineas. We'll take a look at Vinrock's most recent run. There he is in the Yulong colours, just popping off. And for the observer backers, just another sick beat just to rewind that. Thankfully, some people who took the $26 in the Derby feel all right now. But he was good here up on speed. Obviously, Autumn Boy goes straight past him now, but he was decent.
He was decent. And the interesting is important gear change, blinkers on first time. So he's got the winkers on there, and now they've thrown the blinkers on. He's worked with them. Again, going back to what we said before about the speed map, fire out, handlebars down, and see how far they can go. So I think you got to respect him. He's certainly good enough to run a place.
Yep. Where you leaning?
Oh, it's got to be Jimmy. Yeah, it's got to be Jimmy. Speaking to Chris Waller last week, this has been the big race for Angel Capital. As we touched on, he needs the Group 1. He wants the Group 1. That's all that matters right now is get the Group 1, and they can chase the cash next year. Although I don't think Yulong needs too much cash, but
no, they're going all right.
They're going all right. But so he needs the Group 1. So all these rich races up in Sydney are of no use to him unless they've got a Group 1 status next to their name. Sorry, Mitch, but. But this is a target race. But the interest there, I mean, the fact that Jimmy's there, is a concern, and I just think he's just going too well. He's next level. Is he the best sprinter in the land?
In the country, for consistency, I'd say he is. Yeah, I would, because you think about he's running the Everest was brilliant. He won the Russell Balding, beating basically all the Everest horses there. Yeah, he skipped Flemington. And Giga Kick, he won that race, but he'd only won sort of a Group 2 lead up. So it'd be good to see them all clash once again in the autumn in the TJ. But Mitch, is Jimmy going to win?
Yeah, I think so. Angel Capital, though, he did come to Sydney for a $20 million race, so it must have meant something, Gil, mind you. So, I think it's a race in two. I think the two horses that come out of the Everest are the pick of them. I think Jimmy Star, we know what he does at 1,400 metres. He was so good when he come up here. Well, he's been up here his last 6 starts. I'm going to label him a Sydney horse now. But he was terrific when he got to 1,400 metres in the autumn in that all-age stakes. So arguably one of his best performances in his career. He's awesome in that Russell Balding. I think he can back it up again in this small field. Angel Capital, as we said on that replay, was excellent through the line. I think he's going to lap up the 1,400 metres as well. They'll be fighting out the finish. Jimmy, by a nose.
Like it. Can't wait for the race. We do need to touch on the Hunter in Sydney. Well, it's in Newcastle, another $1 million race. It is a Group 2 over 1,300 metres. Just have a quick sort of take on this. Well, Joe Pride is gang tackling this one. It's rare for Joe Pride to have multiple runners in the race, but he is really going after this once again. He's won it before, Mitch.
Yeah, he has won it before with the horse that I'd have on top in Cold Crush. He won it 2 years ago, ran pretty good in the race last year, and I think he's going just as good. His run the other day was really good. He was caught deep, but he battled on against the horses that were featuring in Everest. This is sort of his level of race. On Saturday, as you said, Joe's got a great hand. I think any one of them could probably, wouldn't surprise you if they won the race. Of course, he's got accredited Estadio Mastala, and Gold Mile's probably the one that it has got a lift on this preparation, but he's certainly his best is good enough to win this race. But I guess the trump card in this race, or I guess the joker in the pack is Yorkshire. We really haven't seen the best of this horse. He's first up. I just wonder if this is, well, I know this isn't the target race. The Ingham's the race they're sort of looking for. Now, if they can tick this race off along the way, I think he's going to be a serious horse to follow in the coming weeks. But Cold Crusher for me, he's rock hard fit, but very wary of Yorkshire.
Glad that you mentioned Yorkshire. I thought he's trialled brilliantly coming into this. He's the horse on the way up, and there's been some money for him early. But yeah, he's been nailed on a Doncaster horse since he won in the middle of winter. Obviously needs to win the Ingham to get the ballot free clause, and then he can just sort of poke around with no weight on his back. Gil, I'm just labelling this as you're a sucker for punishment.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've got very little interest in the race, to be honest. But Airman's the one. The only thing and not actually the Mitch, Ray Thomas's last meeting, isn't it, this weekend? So, farewell to Ray. But look, Airman, I mean, well, Mitch said earlier that Briasa won the race last year, so the Hawks know how to win the race. So that's a good start. I don't think the campaign's gone to plan, as we know. Airman's a better horse than what he's been delivering.
Blinkers back on.
Blinkers back on. There you go. That helps. And look, at the price, I mean, I think it's a lottery, to be honest. I think he can run a cheeky race back on top of the ground.
Well, 2 starts ago, he was alongside Headley Grange and Gringotts and Alan Brown. Gringotts then came out and won a $3 million race. So the form is there. It's that level of horse. But we'll get to Caulfield. Of course, it is the Group 1 meeting on the day, but track's going to play one of the last meetings of the spring before we take a bit of a break. But weather in Melbourne this morning, geez, it's nice.
Yes. Everyone's been complaining it's been cold and wet.
It has been. It's November.
Yeah, who would have thought? I mean, spring, that's usually what happens. I don't know how people think we might grow plants and things like that without a bit of rain. But bit of rain's happened. It was unfortunate we copped it during Cup Week. The rest of the carnival's been exemplary. This week, I think I haven't really looked at the forecast, but I'm sure it'll be good enough.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. There you go. Yeah, no, as we know, Caulfield probably can't cop the rain as well as some of the other tracks. Has raced well earlier in the carnival. Was out there yesterday for Caulfield Heath. That was fine. So looking forward to the course proper.
Best bet?
Best bet on the card is Aviatrix. I was going to call it a South Australian raider, but the Jollies have sort of a little satellite stable at Flemington these days. So I'm not sure whether I can still quantify it as a South Australian. But what I do know about the Jollies, they know the horses to bring to Melbourne.
So good.
And their strike rate, I haven't got the stats in front of me, but their strike rate would be incredible. Craig Williams on, nothing wrong there. Drawn out a little bit, that's some concern, but yeah, always races well in Melbourne, this mare. And I think she can get the job done at a nice price.
So much so they only snuck one horse over for the carnival, and it was a thing that ran in the Fisher Stakes. Was backed, led them up, and knocked up late. So they know what it takes. Obviously, they've won a couple of those lower level group races in the past, so I don't mind that. And they always find Willow when they've got one they think can win.
That's right. And let's be honest, we're coming to that time of year now where some of these are still. I mean, you see the stables that can sort of place their horses right. There's no point running them around during the guts of spring when you're going to get beaten 5 and 6 lengths. So I expect to see a few more of these jolly horses popping up over the summer period. And yeah, as I said, their strike rate's great. I think it can win.
Mitch, your best bet. Going to have to wait all day for it. In Newcastle, the track looks like it'll be in good shape. And, of course, the rail will be in the true position.
Yeah, we're going to have to save the pennies. Hopefully we've still got them by this stage of the day. But yeah, race 10, number 14, Brave One. I just think a lot of the horses in this race have found their mark. They're at their level, where this fella's a bloke that we really haven't seen the best of yet. He's only had his 8 starts. He's won 3 of those and placed in another 3. In last preparation, he went second, first. He's come back this preparation with a terrific second behind Poker Jack, who just controlled the race first up over 1,100 metres. He carried 61.5 kilos and he was just rocketing through the line. So I think the step up to 1,300 metres suits here. He was a winner over 1,300 metres last preparation at Royal Randwick. So in this race, he does go up in grade. I do concede a fair bit here, but he is carrying the lightweight because of that. So from a good draw, I think he's a nice horse in the making. I think he can win on Saturday and probably go through his grades nicely.
Of course, the interesting part of that race as well is Elliptical returns after being sold for an ungodly amount of money across to Hong Kong. Did less than nothing, was last seen in a Class 2 race. He's been retired from Hong Kong. He's had 2 trials, and oh boy, he looks like he's lost a couple of lengths.
I'm in the way of always sell to Hong Kong. If that money comes, you always take it. Well, unless you're a billionaire and you've got enough money, always take that Hong Kong dollars. You just never know what's going to happen over there.
Yeah, always sell is a great thing to live by. What was that Mick Kent horse that was going to be sold that had won like the Frank Packer plate? They got offered $3 million. I think it won one more race. You know the one I'm talking about.
I can see it.
Had the nose roll.
And also, would it be Canaan? Is that the horse we're looking for?
Yeah.
Yep.
Knocked back $3 million.
Look, it happens. Yeah, I mean, it just happens very often. I mean, you look at there's horses going around. I think, generally speaking, anyone that wants to buy you a horse at a good price, you sell.
Always sell. It's I've come from. I'm a trainer's son. Always sell, Alex. Give him the lead and the head collar too. Gil, you're next best. I love this. I've been waiting for this horse to step up to mile. It's drawn a good gate. For the love of God, if they put it in the race, it'll get the job done.
It's a confident push. I'm glad that you're as confident as me. Look, I'm probably. This is the bottom end of the price that I'd want to be playing for a horse that doesn't really win out of turn. But I think
in the race.
Ready for 1,600 metres. Only touched off last start. Has had 2 goes at the 1,400 leading up to this. 4th up. Looks a winnable race. I am wary of it. It's not an easy race. I am wary of Rumbled Again. I think she might have won this race last year. And I do believe that she was going really well, but had started the campaign really well and then sort of went off the ball a little bit.
You've been tipping her all prep too.
I have been tipping her, so I'm a little bit anxious that I've seen her in here again at a big price. So I'll be including her. But no, look, I just think Roll On High off the back of last start. I'm always a bit wary. I mean, she went around about 40s last start and has been touched off. So I'm always mindful. I was hoping we'd get a bit better of a price, to be honest, than I think about 330, 320. I'm always mindful when a horse, runs well at a 40-1 price, and next thing you know is favourite. So
in her last 4 runs, she's settled in front of 7 horses.
Yeah,
it's probably not going to help winning.
Still has to win. No, I mean, that's we're in the game of picking winners.
Yeah.
So I'm not very confident, but I'm going with it.
I'm confident for you. They've drawn 8. Luke Curry, go forward, son. Put yourself in the race. You'll get the job done. Mitch, your next best up at Newcastle. Horse who I thought got given a great ride last start in a race that was actually kind of tricky, and I don't think they could have done anything more than the way it ran.
Oh, I think a little more. Maybe if she gets out a little bit early, and I'm not saying it was pilot error. Look, she drew poorly and had to go back, and then that's what happens sometimes. You run into a bit of traffic, but if she gets out a bit sooner, I think she wins that 4 pillar. She's one of mine. I've been with her all prep. I think I've tipped her twice on this program already, but I'm going to stick with her. That's Meridiana. She was terrific winning that midway first up, coming from last. Yep, that 4 pillars, as we mentioned, just the luck. The breaks didn't come when she probably needed it, but she was terrific, rattling through the line behind Son of Deck for second there. Steps up to a mile now, ready to peak 3rd up. I was interested to hear John Sargent say during the week that they don't have to go that far back. From a better draw, there's no reason why she can't be at least midfield or a little bit worse. So if she lands closer, I think she's shown her turn of foot. She will just rocket home and hopefully blow them away.
Don't mind it. I'm going to be following up after backing it last start as well. Gil, your value play comes up in the other feature on the day, the $1 million 3-year-old fillies event, which is the Thoroughbred Club Stakes. And did read a nice piece about this. Benny Mellum gave this horse a spin around during the week, which adds to the confidence.
Yeah, Tenolelli. It's a beautiful girl, actually, in Samoan.
Huh.
So okay. I know that my colleague Brad Waters won't get this far into this video to see this sledge, but on one of this was a horse to follow of his from a couple of starts ago. It's just been unlucky. I mean, really probably should have. You could make a case you could have won 2 of her 3 starts this campaign. Got blocked for a run first up. Charged last start and got beaten by She's an Alibi, I think, if memory serves, or something cut up on the inside.
Who's evens earlier on the card.
Yeah, so we'll be able to get a little sighter on how that form stacks up. Look, let's be serious. My Gladiola is clearly the class filly in this field and should take a world of beating, especially at Caulfield. So we're not under any illusions there. But at $14, I think Tenolelli, and going back to Brad, he absolutely butchered the name in one of our videos, post-race videos on a Saturday post-meeting review. I can't even remember. Go back and see if you can find the video. Real butcher job. But Tenolelli, beautiful girl in Samoan. I think she can be a beautiful girl for the punter on Saturday.
$15. I don't mind that. Mitch, yours comes up in the Beaufort, your value bet. Geez, this will have to be a beautiful ride from Tom Sherry to get the job done.
Yeah, it's a tricky race, this, but I thought hunting for a bit of value, and I found a horse that it just needs 2,400 metres, firm agreement. I think the first up run was excellent when he was returning over a mile. He got back to last and just was only getting warm late. He's then gone to 2,000. It was the same again. He's gone back and hit the line now. 2,400 metres should suit him perfectly. I think he'll get back, of course, but he can be strong late. That 2,400 metres, we've seen him finish second in Australian Derby, albeit beaten a long way by Aliana, but so was everything in that race, and she is a grader. So I think she would have beaten a lot of them by that margin on the day, but he was terrific. I think 2,400 metres, it's firm agreements day. Look, I'm petrified of Mason Louis. I think you can put the performance the other day down to the track. He gets back on the top of the ground, but yeah, I'm leaning the way of firm agreement, but I'll probably have to have a saver on Mason Louis.
Yeah, Blinkers on firm agreement too, so it wouldn't shock if they roll forward there. Now let's get to the quaddies for the weekend. Of course, 10 races at Caulfield this Saturday. You've skinnied up here, Gil.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. I'm trying to. Our producer's not going to be happy with me here if I change some numbers on the run here, but you could really skinny it right up. She's an alibi. Well, first leg, race 7, 1, 2, and 5. Not really going against the grain much there. She's an alibi. Thrown in Burma Star. Chris Wall doesn't back up his horses too often. It was a decent winner at Flemington last week. Comes around again to Caulfield. And Tagline, I think she's an alibi just win, so you could really one out that. Jimmy Star, of course, in the second leg, 1, 5, and 7. Jimmy Star, Angel Capital, and Vinrock. Basically, the weights pull helps him. We know he's going to be in front. He's going to be leading a fair way.
Yep.
Jimmy has, everything's been geared around an Everest. So, yes, he won the $3 million race last start, going as well as ever, should just win. Angel Capital, this has been his target. But, 6 kilos, fresher horse, I suppose. That's the theory there. Of course, race 9, the $1 million Thoroughbred Breeders race. My Gladiola, another standout option potentially with a Tenalelli to throw some value. And then the last league's just a lottery league.
3.
It's gone 3, and I've just gone, if we get this far, you could go 1. You could really go 1, 1, 1, and then basically have 3 in the last and see how we go. But Taken, we've gone, so 7, 11, and 13. So we got Taken Spione, I think.
And Road Cone.
And similar theories with Road Cone. Barrier 1 does like to go forward. I just wonder, second up with a run under the belt, might just be able to pinch a break and could be hard to run down late. So maybe that's for a little bit of value to bring us home. That's if you go the 1, 1, 1 to start off with.
$100 will get you 185% on the day. Mitch, we get to the Hunter for your quaddie. And, well, there's some big fields on the day and some tricky races.
Yeah, we start with the Spring Stakes, the 3-year-old race. I've gone 1, 3, and 7. Grand Prairie clearly got the best form in this race. It's just a matter of if he's been up for a long while, so he's stretching out to a mile here, but he's got to be included. I think Green Spaces is a horse on the up for Björn Baker, and Long Leg scratch from Wednesday's card at Rosehill Gardens to target this. I think she is a nice filly too. Second leg is the Hunter race 8. I've gone, this is the wide leg, I've gone 3 Cold Crush. He's the top selection as mentioned earlier. I think you've got to throw in the 7 Ostraka, was terribly unlucky last start. The 11 Accredited, racing really well. Yorkshire, as we mentioned, he's going to be a horse on the up and probably, I think, a horse that you're really going to follow out of this meeting. And the 16 Clear Thinking off that Kosciuszko win. She's a nice mare for sure. The Beaufort, I've gone 2, 3, 6, and 7. Mason Louis, as I mentioned, you've got to throw him in. 3 Future History. Grand Piero, I should say. The 6 Piero. Jesus, I don't know what I was trying to say there. Italian. Alessandro Del Piero, I should say, and 7 firm agreement we'll go with. And in the last, I've only gone the 2, the 5, and the 14. I think you've got to throw in, look, the best bet is, of course, Brave One, but I've got to throw in the 5 Winchat. I think this horse flies fresh. He could give a sight from out in front. So 5 and 14 in the last.
Hopefully, the best bet doesn't get as strung up as last week's did. I think some punters are still getting over that. And I'm happy to stamp Joe Maria's passport never return. Thanks, Joey. News. What do we got, Gil? Still a lot going on.
A bit going on, isn't there? Yes. All these once-a-yearers that came for the carnival, they've all gone, and here we are buttering up through the summer period, and the autumn will be around the corner. But I'm looking forward. There's a race. It's actually a 200,000. This almost feels like one of these Sydney races. A benchmark 80 with a bit of extra prize money. $200,000 benchmark 80.
That's right up our alley.
2,400 metres. But Lucinda Boyd, she's a lovely story. Trainer and jockey, mother. Anthony Boyd, her husband, was a jockey, had a fall.
Had his first professional ride for my dad.
There you go. Well, didn't know that. We'll conclude that in the story as well. But so he had a nasty fall, and obviously concussion issues, and they've basically built themselves up, and they've got a pre-training business. They train not far from Ballarat. It's just a nice feel-good family story. They share 4 kids. Lucinda has a 15-month-old. She's got about 15 horses or thereabouts on the property, pre-trainers. Some they race, some they pre-train for others. Now, this horse, Harland, used to be a Rob Hickmott horse. It's won its last 2 starts. Since Lucinda's had this horse, it's just gone to another level. Had a few vet issues back in the day. So, yeah, look, I guess it's, all the shakes and the studs and all that we see win all these big races. It'd be great, for a small trainer like Lucinda, who's just loving being able to juggle. I mean, how she has enough hours in the day is incredible. So we'll be cheering for her and Harland in the race on Saturday. And, of course, obviously we've got the usual Jimmy Starr and Words with Ethan Brown and all the usual stuff you can expect to read in the Herald Sun and Racenet.
If Haaland runs like its namesake, how he's playing at the moment, it'll win by about 100 yards. That bloke can't stop scoring at the moment. Named after Manchester City striker Erling Haaland.
Well, me and the round ball game. I have no idea.
I was going to say.
Where is Mitch?
You're not going to get much back from Gil on that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I could talk to Mitch. He's a Liverpool fan. He was up close and personal with some of Haaland's best work on a Monday morning. They got slapped 3-0 by Man City.
Well, Lucinda's 15-month-old is named Haaland, which is actually not too dissimilar to Haaland. And, of course, Haaland, 15-month-old, was born just before they received Haaland. So, anyway.
There's a lot of Haaland.
There's a lot of Haaland.
If that bloke can stop scoring as an Arsenal fan, I'd be kind of happy. But, Mitch, obviously, Ray Thomas's last day tomorrow at News Corp. Obviously, he's been around since, forever, basically. He's been an absolute institution, and we wish Ray all the best as he goes off into retirement. Well, he's putting the pen down at least.
Living legends.
Yes.
Yeah, not retirement. He's very he's stressed that it is definitely not retirement, but it is, I guess, walking away from the telly after 3 decades of service. He's an icon of the industry, not just in Sydney, but I'm sure even the guys down in Melbourne spent a lot of time down there before Sydney. Obviously, the carnival's taken off during the spring up here, but look, he's a mentor, a historian of racing, and this week really it is all about Ray, because deservedly so. He's done quite the innings. He's done a lot of his top 5s, his top 5 horses, top 5 races that you would have seen online, and that's going to be out through the week. And of course, Friday will be his last day. He's opted against taking the 2-hour drive to Newcastle one last time, and who could blame him? He's got his farewell on Friday night, so I can do it after the farewell. Look forward to it, yes. Anyway, moving on. He's had a good chat with Joe and Brave Pride about Cold Crush, the favourite. Brave is actually in this horse. It's his favourite horse in the stable, I believe. So he's had a good chat to them. He's really just one of those horses you'd love to own, isn't he? He just turns up for a lot of grand finals and races really well and earns a lot of prize money too. So it's all about the 100 day. I'll have a chat to Chris Lees, of course, the mayor, I guess, of Newcastle Racing now. Who's got a good team up there on his home track this weekend. So, good weekend, of course. But, cheerio to Ray. And thankfully, Alex, it's an international weekend, so I don't have to suffer Liverpool.
Yeah, it's a good thing that as well. Hopefully some injured players can get back. But let's talk about the Group 1 selections on the weekend. Both of the boys are keen on Jimmy Starr in the CF Orr. Mitch likes Cold Crusher in the Hunter. Gil's with M, and best bet on the card in Melbourne for Gil is Aviatrius. I'm more keen than him on Roll on High, so we'll make it the team's best of the weekend. And how do I pronounce this thing again so I don't butcher it?
Tenolelli.
There you go. That's the value play. Mitch in Sydney. Brave won the best in the final of the day. Meridiana next best in firm agreement in the Hunter. Make sure you do follow the boys on socials. Gil is at Gilbert Gardiner. Mitch is at Mitch RW Cohen. And, of course, Racenet is at Racenet Tweets. Gil, thanks, mate. We're about to head off into the provincials, aren't we?
Been a pleasure. Now look forward to it. We like the Country's Cup swing. Cranbourne, the Meteorite is the first one.
The Supernova is my favourite name. God, it's
the Supernova. Name. Yeah, Champagne Supernova. Yes, Neil Bainbridge at Cranbourne or Southside Racing. Yep. Actually, he loves the Champagne Supernova. He can actually sing that song fairly well too. I've heard him have that go. But no, the Country Cup swing's great. Ballarat. Yep. Look forward to getting to Ballarat. Haven't they had a carnival?
Yeah, they have. And then, of course, we obviously do have Perth Group 1s coming up, so we will touch on the Group 1s. Won't go into a deep dive as we do the Melbourne and Sydney ones, but we will touch on them because, of course, a lot of the good horses are going. Mitch, thank you. Enjoy the farewell party and the drive to Newcastle.
I will.
Of course, make sure you do follow the socials, Racenet at Racenet Tweets. Of course, YouTube, like and subscribe to any of the videos that we do so it pops up in your feed when we do it. And of course, social media, Instagram and Facebook is at Racenet. Good luck if you're having a bet this weekend, and we'll catch you next time on Out the Gate.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.